This is a hunt breakdown of one of my most traumatic experiences as a hunter, I guess you would say. It was a really tough deal for me to experience. This is a hunt that's already been out, so I'll just tell you I didn't recover this deer. And I'm 99% sure, was alive and well after that. So I don't think I killed him, is what I'm saying. And that's pretty tough to deal with, especially when you feel like you did everything right. This is in South Dakota around October 5th. It's probably the most beautiful place to be at the most beautiful time of the year, and we're going back there this year. I'm super stoked about that because I have a little bit of a axe to grind, I guess you'd say, with South Dakota, which is a real outdoor TV thing to say, but it's a real deal, man. Like, I'm ready to go back up there, and I would like to be blessed with the opportunity to shoot at another deer and take one home for once. So actually, on this same night, Tyler killed a buck. I think we're about to get to see him.
Let's watch it.
Yeah, we just pressed play on that. So, do we get your shot on this right here?
I think so.
Oh, we get the GoPro angle. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of all we had.
Yeah, that's true. Mac City, South Dakota.
Smoke City,
smoked
South
him.
Dakota. Where we go?
What is going on? If you watched these before, you probably know that there was a little bit of a camera issue last year. We'll just call it that.
I'm pretty in focus there.
Yeah, it was good. So I'm sitting about 300 yards or so from Tyler.
Yeah, we actually, this was one of the best nights that we've ever had. But the next day it was kind of where things went sour, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I'd shoot that deer on the line right there.
I'm smoking him next year, this coming year. Here's a few months.
I'm set up right here in just a little grove of tiny saplings of American plum. And it's kind of in a little depression, which is a part of Heinz mayonnaise ketchup, whatever they like to say, with that acronym.
In the military.
So, very red. Good, astute. There, Tyler. I'm sitting down, and I can't really see a ton, but I can see these deer as they start to crest over into the alfalfa field that they're heading to. This is all alfalfa out in front of me here too, but it didn't get cut and it got kind of old and crusty. The stuff that they're headed to is really fresh alfalfa that they really, really like to eat. And I watched deer pile into this field most of the night, and then it got real crazy. Man, it gets to the action quick.
So this is me, Tyler POV. Yeah. I had shot that deer and got out of the bottom because I wanted to help KC have a chance to shoot a deer in the same spot the next evening if he didn't shoot a deer tonight. Well, when I came up on top of the ridge, I could see this buck going at KC. We were just chilling, Hadn't been there 5 minutes, and I could see this happening.
Yeah, and so you probably heard or saw there that grunting works in early October in South Dakota. This buck is very interested in what I got going on over here.
He's swag, man. Like he's got his kind of like this whole like stomping thing going on, he's not happy.
Those are some wide brow tines, in case y'all didn't know. Like, it's wild. I remember looking at him. I wasn't looking at him, through binoculars at this point. I'm just looking at him like, what is going on over there? And he's just staring me down. Not because he knows I'm in there, but he definitely knows where that grunt came from because he was probably only 60, 70 yards away when I first grunted.
You grunted him because all the deer were kind of going around you, right?
As you saw in the footage before this, all the deer were kind of just skirting my position, not because of me, but just because it was a straight line from where they were coming up and then headed to the ag field. So I was like, okay, I 100% want to shoot this deer really, really bad, so I'm going to do what it takes to get him over to me, and it works. I was kind of amazed, actually. Right now, I'm kind of like, man, goodness gracious.
Ears are laid back, David.
I know. He's like kind of mad, man. And I'm messing with the camera, trying to get this all worked out. This deer is 23 yards away at this moment. And he's just trying to look in there and see me. And I'm kind of down in a dark spot, and he can't tell.
Those brow tines eat you up.
They are way up there. Way up there.
Pointy.
Y'all don't do any math on him. It's kind of scary. But
here we go.
Yeah.
It's getting close.
Moment of truth.
Neck's starting to swell, man. Look at that.
And I'm self-filming, full draw with the camera. Ah.
Oh, there you go.
That looks like a good shot. And the arrow goes in a good-looking spot that you can see as he turns there. It's sticking a long way out of him. Yeah, he's not happy.
Watch him. When I saw him taking off, I was like, from that angle right there, I was like, oh my goodness.
I didn't get much penetration, but I think it's pretty good. I think I hit him pretty good.
Beautiful night, man.
Yeah. Oh, I also manual focused whenever I did that too. That's why I'm out of focus here. So I have a camcorder.
But you nailed the focus on the deer.
It's wild.
Tyler and Jack are watching me.
We started celebrating from 300 yards away.
You can see
Yeah.
So there's his light. I could see, I guess that was camera light or something, or a phone.
Thinking it was a good shot. We might have 2 deer down. Okay.
This is
Okay. We gotta check it out.
Freaking out, man.
We gotta go check it out.
cool. So much fun, dude.
We gotta go check it out. I think he dropped right.
What you got strapped across your chest there?
It's a rangefinder. That's I've got the old. I learned that from Chris B.
His body.
And
And I think
that's how I keep my rangefinder on my body at all times. It's just a big loop I put over my shoulder, and then I keep it orange. That way, if I drop it, I can find it.
But as he turned, I saw a decent amount of arrow
It's the
hanging
camera
out.
adjustment I
But
made
it
with
wasn't
my
a whole
bow.
arrow. I mean, I think I got pretty good penetration.
It all looks good until he turns.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big buck.
Astute statement.
Thanks, sir. Very observant.
I've lost a deer before.
We were making all kinds of good statements. Little did you know, bigger things were coming your way in about a month and a half.
I know.
Hopefully
Some more crying.
More crying. Actually, the video of that is already released, so if you want to go watch that hunt breakdown, it's in the description as well. But wait till after this, because this is awesome.
It
Watch
ain't
this.
perfect, but it's good. It's good. Did y'all watch the whole thing?
Yes, I filmed it.
Oh my gosh.
It's on film.
Oh my gosh, it's on film over here too. My penetration ain't great. But the
it
shot
frontal?
looks money.
The frontal.
No, it's a quartering 2, and I aimed point of the shoulder, and I hit exactly where I was aiming. It had to have gone in there, and just on a turn, it's already kind of pulled out
He
or
looked
something.
hurt, dude.
He looked real hurt.
Did you find the arrow?
No, I bet we can though. Did you see how big that deer is?
Yeah. Brow tine.
What did you shoot?
An 8-point.
Come it! Come it!
He's dead in the ditch over there. We found him on the way to you.
You see how big?
He's not as big as that. He's bigger than any other 8-point we've seen on the strip, other than.
Is he the one that I spooked early?
He was.
Maybe.
Is he
Yeah,
1-year-old?
yeah, he
I
was.
don't know if he's
He's actually
a
7-point.
He's got like.
He didn't have one brow tine.
They're like 4 or 5 inch D2s.
Man, I'm skinny there.
Me too.
Hold up,
dude.
hold up. Y'all don't look. Y'all don't look.
Oh, man. It's because we spent a week in
Actually-
the mountains.
Speaking of,
Oh, do you have that? Oh,
got it
look
right
at
here.
that.
He already moved his body some, so I think that
We're gonna,
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna see him here in a minute. But
Oh, yeah.
aimless,
give you a better look here. in a
more
second.
up in the front cavity. You know what I mean? So,
Reviewing the footage here, looking at stuff.
oh my goodness!
Yeah. He's tall, man.
South Dakota.
Man, I love the way our nighttime footage looks.
I hope he's
It's
dead.
gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
These cameras
Throw
are
the
nice.
All right.
Make some stuff happen.
So lots of things happened between now and this point.
Let's pause it for just a sec. Oh,
Sure.
gosh. So we decided that, of course, since mine needed some time to sit, we were just going to go take care of Tyler's deer. So I believe we went back to the
Went
camp,
to camp first.
ate, and got all of our lights, and then went to go get your deer. And we recovered your deer, and that was a lot of fun. We have already recovered one whole deer and eaten supper. So we go out pretty stoked, but also a little bit reserved, and start looking for blood, and we don't find anything. We don't find any blood for a long, long time. We've almost given up, and then our camera guy finds one spot of blood on the ground.
Weirdest thing.
Weirdest
ever, dude.
thing ever.
Yeah.
We don't even know if it's from my deer.
Yeah.
So we had a really late night that night, but gave him plenty of time to expire if he was going to.
So there's not a ton of footage, but now we're here in the morning and things are. I'm real excited, frankly.
Yeah,
So you're reviewing footage right there, I believe, right?
looks like it.
Yeah. Trying to see where
Where he went.
he went.
Went out there and stood. You dead zone him, you know what I mean?
And we're walking around
Like, you think about that.
Okay.
So the next
I
morning
was
we
letting
made
him
it
talk
back
about it.
to the spot where I shot the buck. Spirits are high,
Michael
but
Jackson.
also Tyler's
I could
doing
do
Michael
Michael
Jackson to the pasture, but
Keeping it
spirits
chill.
are high, but we're
Tyler was a little more excited and felt a little better about it than me, I think.
that Tyler just messed up all my blood. No, there's a possibility.
I was just happy to be able to see over that
We
cliff.
don't find this deer, but we feel pretty good about the shot.
Couldn't do
Oh.
that.
I found actually a spot right here that looks like a track where maybe he turned out to run, and it almost looks like there is a route of travel
to where we found that blood, or where Jack found the blood.
Got some wind noise there.
Unbelievably last night. So
Yeah.
it was just
Walking man. So this is wild.
Creepy.
Tyler walks up to the edge and says, "There's a deer down there."
I was like real pumped at first. Put my binos up, and I'm like, hold up, this deer does not have a big enough rack, I don't think.
This deer's not that
Not my buck.
old.
Just weird. And so we assumed that the blood we found the night before was actually from this deer, which is nuts. But the blood, like we said, we were suspicious about that blood
It was kind of
even
crusty.
that night, you know?
Yeah.
So that definitely, here we go. Casey yells, big buck, big buck. And there he goes
You see
running.
me running down. I'm not really trying to like chase this deer down and shoot it, but I want to get eyes on it
Yep.
to see if it's my deer or a different deer.
So the camera guy had actually gone in front of you right there.
Which is not a good call.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. But that ended up making like that deer go down to him and then turn around and end up where I was standing, and then he went up behind me back there. I actually was kind of back where Tyler right here came from when all this happened. I didn't have a clear shot. I was really trying to decide if it was him or not.
And this deer basically didn't have much of a place to go other than up on top, as you can see back here in the background. And then it's just miles of alfalfa pretty much. And what's crazy is when we got up there, we didn't see the deer anywhere. And I mean, he was feeling good enough that he could just traverse. You know, he probably made a half moon into another section or something, but still, you're talking about a half mile running or whatever. He felt good enough to do that and get out in front of us.
I just saw him running down the outside edge out there. I'm assuming he was bedded.
So I guess explain that a little bit better. We're all going to kind of push through in grid search pretty much at this point. Is
Yes,
what we were
yeah.
doing. And we were in the act of grid searching, had bumped a few deer, but see them all, and they're not him. And I see him jump up the deer that I shot, and he looks very healthy. I mean, he takes off, but his tail's between his legs like bucks do a lot of times. They don't bound off, they kind of slip off, but his head is up and alert, like he's not hurt at all. I can see a little spot maybe on his shoulder, or I guess it'd be that side, where it looked like there might be a little bit of ruffled hair or something, but he runs down and encounters the cameraman, and he turns back, comes up, gets confused, and then heads up that canyon. And I get a pretty good look at his antlers, because that's how I'm going to confirm it's him or not, and I'm almost certain it was him. I mean, it's hard to say for sure. I mean, you could have deer that look exactly the same, so it's very hard to say. But we look around a whole lot more, nothing, no blood anywhere down there. We drove out that little canyon, no deer came down to me, and then at that point in time, it's just, lost deer, and it stinks. I never found my arrow, never had anything that showed any indication of what happened, except for about, I don't know, a month ago probably. I was reviewing this footage because I like to just torment myself, and noticed that on the shot, maybe it'll show it right here. Hopefully this is in slow-mo enough. Sometimes you have to go frame by frame.
I think it does slow it down. It may not do it this time, but it'll do it one time here, I think.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different reviews of it.
This is just reviewing how big that deer is.
But anyway, you were reviewing, and
So I was reviewing, and I noticed that when I shoot at about like 2 or 3 yards in front of the camera, maybe a little further, I don't know, I actually hit some grass or weeds or something with my arrow, and all I can assume is that changed the trajectory of the arrow enough to where it was still flying the right direction, but it wasn't flying in a straight path. Here we go. Watch down here, lower area. I don't know where it is. Somewhere in there. You can see that I hit a twig, and all I can assume is that it just made the arrow to where the weight of the arrow was not behind the front when it hit the deer, and it just, just bent. You can see that arrow kind of flip out a little bit whenever I do hit the deer. And if you listen, there's a hard hit as well. So I guess I must have hit him in the shoulder, or what I really think is a rib, because I didn't have the force behind that to have good penetration. that's what you got.
Yeah.
right
So
there.
what key points do you think you would take away from this and try to use next year going forward? Or in the any future ground attempt?
So I think in general, ground attempts are not my first option. I mean, they're a way to shoot a deer, and it happened right here. But I think we've experienced this in Kansas and other places too, that shooting deer from the ground's hard. Like getting the shot off is hard, and then this is the second time I've had obstructions cause my shot to go bad. The last time I missed completely is a couple years back. And so it's just not easy. So I guess like making sure you have a clear sight picture when you're taking that shot. I mean, right there I thought I was good, and I still probably would take that same shot, honestly. I mean, it was just a freak deal. Actually, in the past I'd swapped from expandable to a fixed blade, and this time I was shooting a fixed blade, and it still happened because I thought that the expandable grabbed grass and it went weird, you know? So I don't know. Try to stay in the tree as much as possible when I'm out in the western stuff, or at least not shoot from my knees, you know,
Yeah.
try to get up above that grass. I think as far as hunting tactic goes, it went absolutely perfect, you know?
I think, the problem is like we've done a lot of ground stuff, and you can get within, a reasonable distance of deer a lot of times. The problem that I see a lot of times on the ground is they know you're there. And they're looking at you, and they're on pins and needles. And if that deer, all things considered, still, if that deer hadn't have jumped the string, he's probably a dead deer. You know what I mean? So that's what happens in ground situation is that deer, is looking at you like, what in the world is that thing? Is it a coyote? Is it a deer? Or what? Is it a person? I don't know what that thing is. And so when the bow goes off, it takes off.
Yeah, and I think that you might hear other people say things like, you shoot a heavy enough arrow, a good FFC or whatever, you can shoot through a little bit of stuff. Have a backup plan, whatever. I think that's kind of foolish, and I'm not going to suggest that be something that you do. Yeah, high FOC or good FOC is good. Arrow weight, heavier arrow weight's good, but like, don't ever account for the idea you're going to have to shoot through some stuff to kill a deer. If it happens, it happens like this. But like, don't set yourself up for that shot because, I mean, there's no reason to make it any harder than it already is.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, man. Well, yeah, very unfortunate thing that happened, but we did get a buck out of that afternoon. We knew going in there on that wind, we stood a pretty good chance. And so we actually are doing a hunt breakdown of this hunt as well. So the other half of this day, pretty much. So you can check that out. We'll put that link in the description when it's ready. And any other of our hunt breakdowns you want to see, or any of the season playlists, we have a whole playlist that shows all these hunts in real time. No guys sitting in the picture in the bottom messing stuff up. So you can go check that out. And remember, this is your element.
Living it.